What up? Corey Paul, Friendline. We here at South by Southwest. The last thing that you probably heard from me was the Grace Love Mercy album. Right now we working on the Sacrifice album coming from Frontline with Reconcile. We planted inside of the city, Resurrection Houston, partnering up with these detention centers and probation centers and taking the music and infusing it together, ultimately trying to give them the gospel. The King Without a Crown feature with Thizzle, Southern Lights tour that's sponsored by the big homies at Rapzilla, and the Pull Up with Alex Faith, all that stuff, man. That's how you might have heard about me, man. Yeah, so once we finish up the Sacrifice project, the next thing we're gonna be working on is the Frontline album. Me and Rick been rocking for probably 5 years or better, and we never did an album together. So we're gonna do the Frontline album after that, and what we're gonna try to do is encapsulate what we do in the city inside of that project, from the ministries that we work with or work through, and then where we came from, the sound, that southern growl. Try to tone back the yelling a little bit and just leave the passion. You know what I'm saying? A lot of turn up and a lot of passion and emotion. So that's the next big thing from us, the Frontline movement album that we want to do. So I'm from South Park, Houston, Texas. You know anything about the Sxsw music, you know, a lot of those guys came from the general area, you know. I'm from South Park, Houston, Texas. I always say the best way to kind of encapsulate it is a lady wrote an article in the Houston Chronicle saying South Park is like an overgrown garden of weeds choking out any signs of a flower that may blossom or bloom. South Park used to be a staple of the community, but now with over 55% of the residents not having a high school diploma, it's barely standing. And so that's where I'm from. I grew up quick, little kid. It was same old little kid stuff, riding bikes, playing games. Never really knew my biological father. My stepdad, who raised me since I was like that kind of baby, you know, he raised me since then, months old. That was the only dad I knew. He was an amazing man. Early on in my childhood, he got addicted to crack cocaine. So that changed the whole dynamic of our household. Once he got on to that addiction, it was a constant battle. You know, so when I was young coming up, by the time I was, 6 or 7, I had seen a lot of stuff that really nobody should ever see, but especially a child. So I had saw my mom beat up, cut with a knife, burnt with an iron, eye blackened, whole nine, because of, he need the money for drugs. He got to do what he got to do. To the point where it got so bad, one time, he would come and kick the door in, and my mom, fearing for her life, she bought a pistol. So one night he kicked the door in, it was the wrong time. She hit him 3 times with the pistol. I'm about, 7, 8 years old this time. I remember coming out and seeing my dad laying on the ground bleeding, and I remember just thinking, I guess sometimes you get shot. You know what I'm saying? I say it like that every time because that's what it was. It was just kind of an everyday type of thing. Anyway, my old man ended up losing the battle with drugs. He committed suicide in the attic of the house. R.I.P. to that. And I don't know if he was saved or not. So as I got older, I'm running in the streets, just this rat race. You from Houston, it's Serb or it's pills or it's weed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So running that rat race, just being a typical idiot 14, 15-year-old. And then one day my partner put me up on Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He was just basically saying, this was my dog. So it's the only reason why I was listening anyway, because it was my homie. I wasn't really, you from the South, everybody love God. So he put me up on Jesus. He said, this is why we messed up. This is why we broke it. I bought into it. I trusted him. I gave it a chance. Once I got the understanding of what the true gospel was, I looked back at my dad's drug addiction, my mama's abuse, her depression, the struggle and strife that we was from. And I was like, this is the only thing I ever heard that would be able to change or aid or help or mold this environment. And that hope was in the gospel. Since then, I've been rocking. You know what I'm saying? Started doing rap when I was a little kid because we wanted to be famous and drive big cars and throw money. And Jesus took a hold to it, and so I said we was going to use it as a tool to go and get this gospel out, man. So that's that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
All I want to say is Frontline movement is what we're doing in the city. It's not just the music, but it's the aspect of the people we make the music for actually walking with them. So whether it be a stripper or a prostitute or a youth center kid or a shelter or just a little dude that's going to school making good grades and wants something to buy into, it's the aspect of walking with them, you know, actually building that ministry and having the music merge together and allowing that to be, you know, the genuine sound. And I also want to thank Rapzilla, and I always say that it's Chad or Phil or whoever, what they doing for the culture and always have, you know, means so much, because that's when you type in Christian rap or something like that, they're gonna be one of the first to come up. And I remember 5 years ago, them guys coming up, and I'm like, I thought I was gonna have to create a genre, you know, because I ain't know nothing about it. But discovering stuff like that makes a world of a difference. So salute Rapzilla, Corey Paul, Frontline, Sacrifice coming soon.